Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita, Chapter 6, entitled Sankhya Yoga, text number 38. Kachinno bhaya vibhrashtas chinnabhram iva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmanapati. Translation: O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are two ways to progress. Those who are materialists have no interest in transcendence. Therefore, they are more interested in material advancement by economic development or in promotion to the higher planets by appropriate work. When one takes to the path of transcendence, one has to cease all material activities and sacrifice all forms of so-called material happiness. If the aspiring transcendentalist fails, then he apparently loses both ways. In other words, he can enjoy neither material happiness nor spiritual success. He has no position. He is like a riven cloud. A cloud in the sky sometimes deviates from a small cloud and joins a big one. But if it cannot join a big one, then it is blown away by the wind and becomes a non-entity in the vast sky. The Brahmanapati is the path of transcendental realization through knowing oneself to be spiritual in essence, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, who is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Lord Sri Krishna is the fullest manifestation of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and therefore one who is surrendered to the Supreme Person is a successful transcendentalist. To reach this goal of life through Brahman and Paramatma realization takes many births, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Therefore, the supermost of transcendental realization is Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness, the direct method. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mokam karoti vachalam tum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. So last few days, the Kumbh Mela has been hogging all the limelight in all the media. Everywhere, people are talking different aspects of Kumbh Mela. So that's been the most prominent thing in the news. Until one incident happened in Bombay. All of you would have read about that. One intruder entered somehow into the house of one prominent actor from Bollywood, Saif Ali Khan. Shri Shri Krishna Rukmani Satyabhama ki jai. And there was a scuffle. The actor was injured. He went to the hospital. Fortunately, it was not life-threatening. So he should be, hopefully, he should be back to normalcy very quickly. And the police immediately, because it's a high-profile case, and suddenly the media was carrying different sorts of news about this. some CCTV clipping and speculation about who this person can be, and a lot of furor and politicians trading accusations about why this happened, how it happened, and all that. Now finally the news has come that police have managed to capture the culprit, and the police are now saying that the culprit is a man who is from Bangladesh, and probably he came to India without any proper legal process, probably he came illegally or whatever, and he was working as in a housekeeping company as a housekeeper, as a cleaning person. And he thought he had heard that in Bandra, in Bombay, in this locality, very rich people live. And so he thought, let me enter and try to steal something. And that is how he came into the apartment, and then a scuffle happened and all that happened. So finally, the man has been captured. Now they will present him in court and all these kind of things will go on. So whether he is really the culprit, whether this is the real thing or not, only time will reveal. But if whatever is being said is true, you can see that man's fate. He had a job. Last 8 months he was in Bombay. So he came from Bangladesh because he had heard that Bombay is a very great place. You go there, a lot of money is there, you can make money, and they say that's how he has come. Now, I don't know how far it's true. Like I said, only time will reveal. But if what is being said is true, you consider this. This man came from a place, some far-off place, maybe some remote location. He came to the land of dreams, Bombay. And he was having a steady job, a housekeeper job, last 8 months, 6 months or whatever he has been working. He is getting some salary. His life was going on peacefully. But suddenly he thought, let me enter into some rich man's house and steal some money. Overnight, I'll become a rich man. And he went and tried. First time itself, he got caught. Now he's in jail. And not just for theft. Now he will be charged with attempted murder also. So he is going to go to jail for a long time if he is the person who is really the person who has done all this. So you can see his fate now. If he had remained in his job, he would have been leading a decent life. He would have, may not be a rich guy, but at least he had freedom and he had some respect in the society and all that. Now everything is gone. He is going to go to jail, his future is finished, and his future is very dark. So you see, he has become like a riven cloud, neither here nor there. Neither now he has his job as a housekeeper. At least something would have been there in the hand. Nor did he become rich by by robbing somebody and getting some money and then becoming rich overnight. Neither here nor there. He has become a riven cloud. So this is of course a negative example. So this is the example that Arjuna is giving to Krishna here in today's verse. He is saying, Kachinno abhaya vibrashtas chinna brahmiva nashyati. So, like a riven cloud, Chinna Abram. Abram means cloud. Chinna Abram means there is one big mass of cloud. One portion of the cloud breaks away from the large mass, one small portion. And then, instead of going and joining another big cloud, it gets blown away by the wind and scattered. And it becomes non-existent. So, Arjuna is giving this example. Kachinno bhaya vibrashtas apratishto mahabaho brahmanaha pati vimuda. One person who is deviated from the path of transcendence, means the path of spiritual life. Suppose somebody gives up his material life, his family life, becomes renounced, becomes like we are seeing in Kumbh Mela. So many Babas are there. He becomes a Baba, he becomes a sannyasi or whatever. He becomes a sadhu. And then later, what happens is he is not able to perfect the path. So in the first place, why did he become a sadhu? Why did he become a Baba? Why did he become a renounced person? Why did he give up all his material life, IIT and software job and job working in AI and all those kind of stuff? He gave up all that and became a sadhu. For what? Because he wanted moksha. He wanted progress in spiritual life. He wanted liberation from this material world. But suppose such a person Being deviated from that path, he gives up his material life and he becomes a sadhu, but he's not able to perfect that path of being a sadhu, of attaining liberation. Then doesn't he perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? He neither enjoyed in the material life. If he had stayed in the material life, if he had his job, he could have earned some good money, had a family, had children, something he would have enjoyed. Now he gave that up, thinking that I will get greater happiness by getting liberation. But he didn't get liberation also. Neither he got liberation, nor whatever he had materially, whatever assets, whatever acquisitions he had, even that is also gone. So doesn't he become like that riven cloud? You see, like that man who had a job, housekeeping job. Now that is also not there. Neither he got the money he went trying to get it. Like a riven cloud, he is neither here nor there. So, of course, like I said, that's a negative example. But here, the context, the spirit in which Arjuna is making that statement is similar. That a yogi, after taking up the path of yoga, if he doesn't perfect, then doesn't he become like a riven cloud? So now, Arjuna's question, why is Arjuna asking this question in the first place? We have to understand that in the previous verses, in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna in the beginning explained how to practice yoga. One has to practice strictly brahmacharya, one has to give up family life, one has to take sannyas, one has to go to the forest, and there one has to practice pranayama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, all these 8 stages of Ashtanga yoga. This is not the modern kind of yoga. In the modern kind of yoga, you do whatever you want. In the city, you have your life and you go and do some asanas basically for improving your health. That's not what Ashtanga yoga is really meant for. Ashtanga yoga is really meant for spiritual emancipation, to attain liberation from material life. So there are 8 stages in that. That's why it's called Ashtanga. It consists of 8 parts. Asana, pratyahara, pranayama, dharana, samadhi, etc. So, if somebody takes up that original actual yoga process for the sake of liberation, then first thing is one has to give up one's family life, one's house, all one's material assets, everything one has to renounce. One has to take sannyas and go to the forest, not living in the city, not living in the luxury of the house. You cannot practice yoga like that, Ashtanga yoga. So that you have to practice in the forest, undertaking great severe austerities. Tapasya, it is a life of great austerity. So this process was described by Krishna to Arjuna in the beginning of this 6th chapter. So when Arjuna heard that, whatever is going on in all your minds is what went on in Arjuna's mind also. What was that? In the 33rd verse, Arjuna told Krishna after hearing everything, he said, "O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical." That's what is going on in all your minds also, isn't it? When you hear you have to take sannyas, you have to go to the forest, there you have to practice Ashtanga yoga, strict brahmacharya you have to practice, you have to live on fruits and berries, whatever is available in the forest. This is all impractical. Who can follow yaar? Right? Same thing Arjuna also said. "O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady." So it's for our modern minds, it is impractical and impossible to perform this process in this system of yoga. So, for the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it seems to me, more difficult than controlling the wind. So this was Arjuna's question. Krishna, you're telling yoga system, you're telling me I have to practice this, but it's impractical, not possible for me. How do I do it? It's not possible. So what was Krishna's response? In the 35th verse, Krishna said, "O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and detachment. Vairagyena abhyasena." So if you constantly practice and simultaneously you follow the path of renunciation, then it is possible, Krishna told Arjuna. And then Krishna made one more statement. "For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by right means is assured of success. This is my opinion. So Krishna told Arjuna that yatata shakyaha aptam upayataha. Success is guaranteed if you determinedly follow this path. And also in the earlier chapters, Krishna also told Arjuna, Neha abhikramana shosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpamas apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna told Arjuna, if you take up the path of yoga, then whatever you practice in that path of yoga, there is neither diminution nor loss. You don't have to worry. If you progress up to a certain stage in spiritual life, in this life, next life you will resume from that position. Not that you have to start all over again. In material world, if you acquire something, say you acquired education, suppose you did a master's degree or you got a doctor's degree, you became a PhD. Next life, you have to again start from nursery. You cannot say, last life I was a PhD, so this life I'll continue from PhD. No need of nursery, first standard, second standard. You cannot say. You have to start from zero only. Similarly, if in this life you have earned a lot of wealth, you have become a millionaire, you have become a karodapati. Next life, you cannot say that, last life I have earned so much money, let me, you transfer all that to my current bank account, I'll start from there. No, sir. You have to again start from zero. So this is the nature of the material world. But in spirituality, whatever spiritual life you have progressed in this life, next life you will resume from there. You will continue from there. This was Krishna's statement in the earlier chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. So Arjuna, now Krishna is again saying here that success is guaranteed if you are determined. That also Krishna is saying. Therefore, Arjuna is asking here this question in the previous verse, in 37th verse, Arjuna said, Ayatihi shraddhayopetaha yoga chalitamanasaha. What is the destination of the man of faith who does not persevere, who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? So Krishna said, yatata shakyaha. If you determinedly pursue, then success is guaranteed. And Krishna said, whatever you have practiced, it will never get destroyed. You will always continue. So Arjuna is once again asking, he wants to confirm from Krishna. So he is saying, ayatihi. So you said yatata. If he pursues, then he will attain success. Suppose he doesn't pursue. Suppose he practices for a little time the process of yoga, and then he gives up again and goes back to the material life. So doesn't he lose in both ways? Neither materially he enjoyed, nor spiritually he progressed. So this question Arjuna is asking to reconfirm Krishna's earlier statement, whatever you have progressed in spiritual life, you will not lose it, it will not reduce, you will only continue from there. It will only keep increasing and enhancing from there. So Arjuna wants a reconfirmation on that. Not only that, Arjuna is speaking on our behalf. When we speak of spiritual life, when we speak of austerities, tapasya, when we speak of renunciation, vairagya, that we should give up material life, we should follow the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, we have to follow these principles, then only we can progress in spiritual life. When we say that, somebody may think, okay, I can give up all these things, but suppose I give up meat, suppose I give up intoxication, suppose I give up connection with the opposite sex, so whatever I'm enjoying, I'm stopping. So I'm taking a spiritual life, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, following the regulative principles. Suppose I don't attain perfection, then this enjoyment is also gone, and there spiritually also have not attained the perfection. So what is the use? Why take this risk? So whenever we take up any endeavor, we always assess how much is the risk, isn't it? Suppose you have 1 lakh rupees with you, and somebody comes and tells you, I got a very good investment proposal. You put your money in this, in 6 months it will double. You will start calculating. 6 months double. In 1 year, that means my 1 lakh will become 4 lakh rupees. Wonderful. But then, how much risk is there? Suppose I put this 1 lakh. Suppose it doesn't become 1 lakh. Suppose it doesn't become 2 lakhs. Suppose it doesn't double. On the other hand, if I lose the money, neither I have 1 lakh nor I have 2 lakh. Everything gone, no. So you'll say, okay, I have 1 lakh rupees, I'll not put everything, I'll invest 50,000, let us see how it works. This is how we think, isn't it? We will assess the risk. And suppose the risk is too high, you will say, no, I don't want. I'll be satisfied with that 8%, 9%, whatever I'm getting in the bank. So, in spiritual life also, when we come to spiritual life, the first step is we have to follow the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. Without following these 4 regulative principles, there is no question of spiritual life. And so when we tell people about this, they start thinking, oh my God, I have to give up all these things I'm enjoying. Now if I give up this, in spiritual life, will I get what I'm aiming for or not? So to assure the people that if you give up this material happiness and take up the path of chanting Hare Krishna, rendering devotional service to Krishna, then don't be worried, because even if you don't attain perfection, whatever progress you make in this life will continue, it will go on multiplying. There is no loss, no diminution. Arjuna wants to reconfirm from Krishna this statement so that the people who take up spiritual life will be assured and will have the confidence that yes, I don't have to worry, there is no loss in this path, there is no diminution, risk is zero. This is a zero risk investment. So people will get encouraged and inspired to follow spirituality. This is Arjuna's intention behind asking this question, and therefore he is saying, this is my doubt, and he is saying, O Krishna, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Because this is a question that can crop up in our minds. What am I doing? I'm following spiritual life. Will I get anything in return or not? So, to assure such beginners in spiritual life, Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna, and we will see further how Krishna answers this question of Arjuna. So we'll stop here. Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.